Good morning, everyone. So today we'll be discussing a topic that I like very much. It's imagining what would happen when the world chooses kindness instead of violence. Um, what would happen if the world turned vegan, or the humans at least? Um, so it's a wonderful point of view. Um, of course, it's theoretic, but I believe that what would happen, there would be many wonderful effects. And this is, where compassion is not an aspiration, it's the foundation of the civilization of the world, where everything, like our system, cities, and daily choices, reflect a fundamental commitment to kindness. So it's not like a fantasy or a dream, it's a vision that what could become possible if we choose to build societies that refuses to depend on harm. Um, so it's a world that has moved beyond cruelty and embraced life in the fullest, most respectful form. So it's a it would be a wonderful world, like the famous song, it's a wonderful, wonderful world. That would truly be a wonderful world that I wouldn't mind living in. It would look very different than the current world. So all beings would be respected, irrespective of how they look. Um, every species would be fully respected. Animals would not be frightened by us anymore. Um, there would not be any more wars between humans too. It all goes together. Basically, we cannot have one without the other. So, what a wonderful, wonderful world, full of kindness and empathy and strength also. Strength in that, in the power of kindness and compassion. Um, all countries going in the same direction, everyone helping each other, no more jealousy, no more envy, no more invading a neighboring country just for greed. Um, I really think everyone is is um, is extremely important. Each being is extremely important, and not it's not even possible to hurt anyone, either animal people or the humans. It just would be impossible. So all the laws would be aligned. Um, like killing an animal would be the same as killing a human. So then it would be like heaven on earth, literally. Um, then this world could expand 1,000 times faster than it is now in all aspects, both art and philosophy, science, health, and everything together, because everything is tied together. Everything is interrelated. So um, if all the countries cooperate, wow, what a world! For now, we have so much tension in this world, so much also hatred, sometimes between countries. Um, it's very sad, but we can change that. We can make a world that is very different. And yeah, so let's discuss this today. So yeah, so it's like a clear foundation. It's it's very clear. It's not half measure. No, it's not a kind of world that is half cruel and half compassionate. No, it's not less bad or it's not or without like human harm. It's a world where violence is just no longer a system. It's not a necessity in any case. Um, um, yeah, the like it's a world that is not without any compromise, where violence is just genuinely absent from our foundations. It's a wonderful world. And yeah, so compassion becomes like the baseline. It's not like an add-on or a luxury for those who can afford it, or maybe some countries but not others. Um, it's not something that others can dismiss. It is this baseline that society is measured upon. Yeah, it's like the starting point from which all decisions flow. When kindness become like structural, something that is very foundational, then and not optional, then everything changes. Of course, it's not about perfection. Perfection. It's just about refusing to normalize harm as like the price of progress. So we don't need harm in any way to progress in any way. Um, we're just content in our hearts. We do not seek, not have greed about other people and countries. We animals are free to roam. They are free being. They have full rights like humans. Yeah, so that would be wonderful, wouldn't it? So yeah, so it's food without victims, and that would be a world where nourishment and harm can no longer be intertwined. Um, Food becomes what it always should have been, just sustenance to bring life rather than requiring death. So it was never necessary to kill or to hurt animals for our own nourishment. But yeah, humans have kind of forgotten this, put veils around their hearts, their eyes, and their ears, and it's not necessary. So in such a society where there is no more such things, so all the food is grown for people. So agriculture focuses entirely on feeding humans directly, efficiently and abundantly, and there is no like the wasteful intermediate of animal agriculture. So because most of the food that we grow, most of it corn, soy, anything is for the animal agriculture. So this is why it destroys the planet, destroys like creates deforestation. We create pastures not only for the like so-called cattle, cows, or any other animal, but even more so for their feed. They need a lot of food and water too, and yeah, fresh water, they need to, of course, they drink a lot of water. And that's what we give. We breed them for slaughter basically. So they need to be fed first, and then when they get to their age when they are killed, then they are killed. But yes, but like in the meantime, they consume a gigantic amount of food. And it's not like we take like animals that are already there. We breed them specifically for food, so it's just a business. It's like genetic manipulation, and we do all that we can so that they do not like get sick before we kill them, slaughter them. So we also give them so much antibiotics, and yeah, and then what we eat, like the meat and all those stuff, and also the fish, contains all those antibiotics and plastic nowadays, microplastics. So yeah, so in such ideal society, there is no more such thing. All those food goes to all the humans. Of course, the animals continue to eat. It's not that we take the food away from the animals, but the animals are like free to roam the earth, and there would be also much less of like animals, because we would not breed them specifically for slaughter. So yeah, so that's the ideal society, and there would be no breeding then for slaughter indeed. So no animals are bred, confined, or killed for consumption. So the so-called livestock doesn't exist anymore. That's a category of so-called livestock. What does it even mean, livestock? Stock that is alive, or well, I would say it's like a dead stock, because they are walking dead. And yeah, so we would nourish ourselves without any exploitation. So the farming exists only to nourish communities and ecosystem, not to extract profit from suffering. Because currently we exploit basically suffering. We base our business on suffering, on killing, on abuse of innocent beings, and we close our eyes and ears and hearts. But in such a society, there would not be any more such exploitation. Everything that would be given, I mean, the farming would only be like cruelty-free farming, basically plant-based farming. Then there are so many plant-based food to choose from, so it would be very much more fun for the farmers also. They could, and they will themselves feel very, very light and very happy too, because they do something that is fun, like gardening. Farming can be a lot of work, hard work, but also a lot it's very satisfying when it is cruelty-free. And also trying to make it as organic as possible, no pesticide. Again, to protect life, protect the insects, because many, if not most of the insects are poisoned by our pesticides. Like the bees, just terrible. We destroy the bee colony completely. And also because of honey, that's another thing. But yeah, and then we have eating without denial. So we don't have any more like when the meals are no longer require the psychological distance from their origins. So all the food becomes very honest, very transparent, and aligned with our values. So our values are no longer distant from our actions, our values are 100% aligned with our actions. We walk the talk, as they say, and everything becomes luminous and beautiful and calm and gentle and peaceful. So yeah, food without victims, any victims, we should reflect upon that. And yeah, that would be like the end of slaughterhouses. Um, some places must belong to history, like it's a relic of a time when societies justified violence through tradition, convenience, and economic pressure, just business, basically. Um, and then, yeah, slaughterhouses join that list of relics, like slavery, like women's rights, um, like many other um, negative and harmful so-called traditions and values of the past, maybe that people thought was normal, but then later on people wonder how could that be. Um, and yeah, same thing with slaughterhouses. They should not exist. They should never have existed on this planet, but they are. Humans, for some reason, decided to slaughter animals for a kind of purpose. And well, in an ideal society, then there would be no more slaughterhouses, like facilities where billions or even trillions of sentient beings meet their violent ends simply do not exist. It's not possible in a non-violent world. Everything, the infrastructure of industrial skilling is basically dismantled. It's not reformed into something that resembles that, but so-called kinder that doesn't exist. There's no more no humane killing myth. That's just a fiction that we like to tell ourselves. That violence can be kind, that killing can be compassionate, is completely abandoned. So the language stops to obscure reality. Um, there's so much talk about this humane killing. That's absolutely ridiculous. We cannot kill a living being that doesn't want to be killed. How can that? It's like it's a conundrum. It's an impossible paradox, um, and needlessly, just for our taste or our ego or self-made belief or even religion. So yeah, it's just not possible that there's no such thing. Sometimes maybe we like to look at maybe meat packages and see like free range. We can see free range eggs, or yeah, like humane farms. Like animals are happy. That's just nonsense, to say it mildly. Um, in all cases, the animals are sent to slaughter, so um, they will be killed. And yeah, such farms, they even then such farms are not very not so-called what called humane farms. That's not like the norm. Um, like animals are outside only, purely out of in the nature. I think that's maybe called regenerative farming. I'm not sure. Well, people believe that it is very positive, very natural, lovely, kind. That's complete nonsense. For one, the animals they need a lot of space for that, and it's like if one can say economically completely irrealizable. Um, I think there is a documentary that talks about it, possibly in Cowspiracy. I think you should watch that documentary. It's very good. It's on Netflix. Well, it was on Netflix. I'm not sure it is anymore, but one can just go to the site of Cowspiracy and check them out. It's an amazing documentary, and I think that talks about it. How some do that, but it's completely, again, completely nonsense, and the producer actually doesn't do the maths, and doesn't add up at all. So, and again, human killing is just, I remember in this documentary, they said that one should not get attached to the animals, because soon they will be killed. So they are probably killed way before they should. I think cows can live 20 years, but they will be killed way before that. So they live just a small fraction of their life. And in a way, they live in fear because they probably know what's coming. But since they are defenseless, they just go along with it. What can they do? They don't have any way to defend themselves except through humans who defend them. But that is not enough because society is not vegan and there are no laws protecting them. So even humans who have their best of intention cannot help most of them. So yeah, so that's completely a myth. Humane killing. Like minimizing the pain that they feel also when they are killed, but wouldn't it make more sense to just not kill them? We don't need this so-called product or food. It's not a product, neither a food, but we consider them as such. And we just don't need them. We never did, never will. Humans are not carnivores, certainly, and not omnivores either. They are very close to herbivores and frugivores. We are made to eat plants and fruits, not meat, not fish, no eggs. But yeah, so there are no industries anymore that build on taking lives. So there are entire economic sectors that predicates on like breeding animals for death are replaced by systems that create abundance without victims. What a wonderful thing that would be. It's not only taking lives, but also breeding them for different purposes, like so-called entertainment or sports, like courses, horse courses, horse racing, maybe dog fighting in some places, like bullfighting, like carriages, carrying carriages, and that would not exist anymore, because we would respect them. But also horses, that will not be ridden anymore. To ride a horse is not something that is natural and good and romantic. Maybe it's terrible for the horse. It's like imagine someone has someone on your back for 1 hour. That would hurt our backs. So backs are very sensitive. Horses are not meant to be ridden. This is just a myth. But we do it unconsciously, kind of. We think that's normal. Most people think that's normal, and so many movies show that as normal, that it kind of become normalized. But that is also a myth. So yeah, in the future we will see this old ways like the slaughterhouses as something that we would ask ourselves, how could we have done this? How could those exist even? We would maybe look back with shame at our own ancestry, with our human's history. It would be in a history book, like a relic, um, like how did humans once lived. And yes, there were slaughterhouses at that time. People were still sleeping, and so much violence towards all living beings, even humans against humans, and humans against the animal people, and humans against nature in general. So yeah, that would be like there would be like in 1,000 years, maybe they will make an incredible documentary about it. And people would look with disbelief. How could that even have existed? But yeah, so that is for in an ideal society. Then we would have cities that reflect our values. So when the violence disappears from our systems, um, then our physical environment transforms as well, of course. It becomes much more green. We can make it greener, way more forest, way more. Even wild animals could be live in the middle of the forest in the cities. A lot of birds that would not be afraid of us anymore. So cities would no longer carry like the moral weight of hidden cruelty on their outskirts. There would be a lot of reclaimed land, um, like all the slaughterhouses, and also the land that was meant to feed the animals. We do not need it anymore. We have more than enough abundant food that we can give to all the world. Nobody has to die because of not enough food or water. So all those spaces, once dedicated to confinement and slaughter, becomes again green, like communal and alive. So there could be like urban farms, plant-based, of course, farms. There could be parks, wildlife corridors, and just gathering places for people to come together in peace. The air and there will be cleaner air, and yes, softer sounds. We will not hear the cries of tortured beings, be it directly or indirectly. So the air quality also improved dramatically because industrial animal operation causes it's one of the leading cause of pollution in this world, of ocean dead zones, of greenhouse gas, of things that stinks terribly. If one goes like to what is called like I think a wet market, if those do not exist, then the environments around them and in them becomes much clearer, much quality becomes amazing, and then again we can raise, plant like trees and plants and flowers. And yes, so there will not be this constant background noise of suffering that is okay hidden but still very much present. But that fades away then. We may think that because slaughterhouses don't have speakers, then we don't hear the cries of the animal people. But it is very much there, very, very, very strong in this world. The energy that this produces is immense. We may not hear it with our ears, but we hear it with our hearts. And it makes us sad, knowingly or unknowingly. And yeah, suffering that is not required, it's just a business basically. Governments all around the world are helping the animal agriculture. Without the government assistance, there would be practically no animal agriculture. So a lot of it has to do with government. So if we want change, we also need to change the policies, governmental policies, not to give money anymore to the animal agriculture, but to shift it to plant-based farming. That would be a very futuristic country that does that first. I wonder which country will take the lead. I cannot pronounce. Maybe some candidates, but I'm not sure even. All countries have so much violence in them, even those that are maybe more compassionate, still they have a lot of violence in them. And whatever they do not do inside, they just export it outside. They export so-called product, the animal products outside, so that they can be killed outside, not in their own country. So it's all business. Unbelievably business. And yeah, so there would be also public spaces that invite rest. The design would shift from like consumption driven to human centered. So it'd be really, well, it would become like human centered instead of consumption. So it would be places that really invite genuine rest and connection and reflection rather than like transaction. There would be a lot of green everywhere in all the buildings around them, outside. Even the architecture would look very, very different. Much less like industrial and much more natural, much more beautiful. So our environment would stop carrying this moral tension, this cognitive dissonance so cognitive dissonance is a big thing. And even if we walk currently in that beautiful neighborhood, but now there is no more knowing what happens outside is we don't need to think about it. Let's say it that way. We don't need to think about all the slaughterhouses that happen outside our cities. Maybe we don't have slaughterhouses inside the cities, but if we have like an ideal society, then like the places and values align similarly to our own action and values. Then there's also places and values that align. So every place become a place of peace. And yes, so it's education rooted in truth. We stop lying to our children about where the food comes from, about what animals are and what kindness actually means. Because we nowadays we lie very often to children. We don't want them to see slaughterhouses, do we? We would probably almost never bring children to slaughterhouses. Why? Because we don't want them to see those horrors, where the food comes from, and what animals actually become. I'm not sure I ever went to slaughterhouses when I was a kid. Like ever? Not even once. I don't really remember, but maybe once or twice to a farm, maybe. Not even sure. But in any case, so and even adults also, rarely go to slaughterhouses. And yeah, we lie to our children, like we tell them that it's good to take care of animals. That's what we tell them, but then we give them as food hamburgers and chickens and cows and pigs. At the same time, we show them wonderful pictures of smiling cows, smiling chickens, smiling and talking cows, and ducks and mouses. But it's just like an illusion. We are brainwashing them. Into like believing that like animals basically are food, and it's okay to eat animals, even though we treat them well. It's okay to eat them, and we should be kind to them, but it's okay to torture them. Well, we don't say it directly like that, of course, but it is what we do. So our actions do not follow our values. We tell our children to be kind and compassionate, but basically we also tell them that they need to drink their animal based milk and cheese and dairy and butter and ghee, and they need to eat their meat, their fish, their eggs. But even forcing them to eat those, if they don't want to, if they cry, then we will like, be angry with them. That is a complete dissonance between what we talk and what we do. And that is very sad, and that is very important to change. And we can change. We can change the way that we teach. If we want to be honest, then we can tell the children where the animals, where the food comes from in reality. You know, it's something that comes back to my mind. There is like a really wonderful movie called The Last Mimsy. It's a very old movie. It's like science fiction, but a boy and a girl who find a magical kind of magical box which gives them like superpowers. I will not tell the story because if you want to see the movie, I will not spoil it. But in one of the scene, the so the like the two children were eating. I think they were eating like cows meat, and then the little girl, she watched the television, and she saw that like it was a butcher or someone like cutting, I think butchering, I think a cow maybe, the head of a cow. And then like the little girl was shocked. She was like, what is that? And then the little boy like he teased her and said, oh, but you know that's what you are eating. And the poor little girl, she spit out what she was eating, and she was very angry, very sad about it. And then their mother, so she scolded her boy for telling the truth. Like that was quite an unbelievable scene that I still remember right now, even though I've seen this movie a long time ago. But it's stuck in my mind. But it's a very representative of what's happening right now. And of course, this was part of the movie, like a theme of the movie, kind of purity of heart. That the little girl was very pure of heart, and very kind, and that was important for the movie. So it was not just a random scene. It was very much aligned with the movie's theme, and that's quite rare to have this in movies. Very rare to see this. Yeah, I suppose the producers maybe was vegetarian or vegan, or the writer. So yeah, so we should be really honest with education. And many children don't want to eat animal-based food when they know it. Many rebel against it, and they even cry because of it. But still, some parents understand and accept it. Others may force their children to eat. In any case, so there was another story about a great saint from the last century called Saint Kirpal Singh. I believe when he was just 5 years old. So he was born in a meat-eating family. So don't remember how young he was. I think he was 4 or 5 years old, and he told his parents, his father, that he doesn't want to eat meat anymore. And his father was not happy about it, and he wanted to force Sant Kirpal Singh to eat meat. And then his young son told him, "But father, isn't meat dead flesh? And would you make a graveyard out of my body?" That shocked his father. Such wisdom at such a young age, and then he just left him from that day on to eat whatever he pleased him. So I would have loved to do the same, but I did not have such wisdom at that time, unfortunately. But yes, so we should teach children that animals are individuals, that they are sentient beings with their own lives, interests, and experiences, not resource products or objects that exist for human use. So it's not only about food, it's also about entertainment, circuses, aquariums. Those are places of abuse and torture. Those are not wonderful places unless they are without animals, like circuses. I think some circuses have completely abandoned the wild animals team, so that is wonderful. So only humans, acrobatics, things like that, which is quite great, honestly. When one removes the abuse, then what remains is a healthy entertainment. We should teach them that empathy should be practiced, not mocked. So many children have natural empathy and compassion towards animals, and that should be honored and cultivated rather than trained out of them, basically. There are also people who take their children or even grandchildren to hunting or fishing. And that is exactly the opposite of that. We teach them that animals are just products, moving targets, games, maybe even peaceful. And that is destroying their sensitivity, their natural compassion. And then we wonder how we got to this world. So sensitivity should be treated as a strength, not as a weakness. And should be honest food education. So again, should be truthful and age appropriate, of course. We should stop sanitized violence with euphemism like meat and dairy, like words that basically obscure the animals they came from. So when we say meat, we don't say I will eat a cow or I will eat a pig. The animal agriculture changed that to also different names, like I will eat beef, I will eat pork. This is just again we changed the name so that we don't we create a dissonance between what we do, like we eat, and what actually happens and who those beings are. It's all about business. And yeah, we should treat like kindness as intelligence. We should see behind the like immediate convenience and traditions. So kindness is a kind of intelligence. Maybe it's the best, the most advanced form of intelligence. There's not only the IQ, so good IQ, which maybe defines how we can solve problems faster. But then there's also kindness as IQ. So maybe there should be like a KQ. But what is the IQ of what is your KQ? So the kindness IQ. That would be nice, wouldn't it? I would love to see those kind of IQs, maybe with tests that would showcase how people respond to kindness, how they what they think is kind or not, and then one would receive a KQ. So yeah, some would feel quite low, some would feel quite high. Those who respect all the animals or the living beings would have a very high IQ, and those who do not would not. Yeah. So we stop training this connection. Yeah. So currently the young people, so they have a big burden of growing up with this psychological burden. They need to reconcile their values with their habits, and if we change that, then they will develop into adults that compassion was never compromised. That is wonderful. So yeah, to have children grow up as vegans is absolutely amazing. There are many resources to help the parents to do that in the correct way. So many doctors also recommend that to eat a whole food plant-based diet with the supplements that one needs, of course, whatever that may be. And yeah, one can grow into a wonderful, 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 bright being. Nowadays, there are many that are like born vegans, meaning they are vegans all their life. Of course, milk is still required. Human milk, not animal milk, but the mother's milk is still required until the baby is weaned. Of course, that is natural. Baby should receive human's milk as nourishment primarily. But yeah, after that, we don't need it anymore, and we don't need, and in any case, we never need any animal agriculture food. And there is like a lovely lady that has a channel on YouTube called Born Vegan. Well, she was born vegan. She was, she was vegan all her life. I think all her, I think she has maybe two sisters. I'm not sure, but I think her sisters are also vegans. And like born vegan, she's very a strong activist, wonderful activist, wonderful being. And yeah, she's quite young, and she like gives talks around the world, and she walks the talk. So yeah, so let's educate our children in the correct and peaceful and kind way. So we will have also an economy that refuses harm. So yeah, in a kind of world, prosperity and ethics are no longer like competing forces. They work together to create abundance without victims. So that would be a wonderful economic system, um, where everyone is respected, basically. That there's no more disconnect between action and ethics, action and values and ethics. All of it is aligned. So there would be no more jobs that require cruelty. Um, there are some workers that are forced to participate in violence for their livelihood currently. They do not wish to work there, but they have no choice because maybe they need to support their family, themselves, and that's the only place where they are given by the government. Um, Government basically forces them to work them. It's like work there or never work, or maybe leave the country or something. So they have no choice to but to work there, and they hate it. But yeah. So in slaughterhouses, many jobs are like that. So those are some of the most dangerous, physically also and psychologically. There are so many cutting edges there. It's very damaging psychologically, and all those are eliminated when we stop those. So like employment serves life and dignity. So instead of sending those people to slaughterhouses, one could send them to like plant-based farms. They would be a billion times more happier, and maybe even they enjoy it. Um, so yeah, so that is very important to have jobs without inequality. We would have plant-based abundance. So when the agricultural system focus on plants that create more food more efficiently, organically and like bio mostly, on less land, that dramatically lowers the environmental impacts and without victims. What a beautiful idea. Innovation serves life. So all the technological advancement that we can make and creativity are directed towards solution that enhances well-being rather than maximize profit and abuse and torture at any cost. So innovation becomes genuinely progressive. Because nowadays there are so many instruments that are created in order to maximize profit and basically kill living beings in a kind of efficient way. So, like in the egg industry, what happens with the male chicks, um, they are squeezed alive on those machines. They are put on a trailer that crushes them, crush their bones and their beings alive. Even though they are so cute, but somehow humans' heart became so dark, so so negative, that humans created instruments to do that, and there are many other instruments of torture and abuse. In the old times, maybe hundreds of years ago, there was such instruments to torture people, to make them say things in a terrible way, whatever that may be. Like there was maybe now a science of torture, maybe. I don't know. But we still continue that nowadays with maybe we just shifted from the humans to the animal people, but it is the same. And not better, not just same. Or worse, because the the staggering amount of it is incredible. And but then we can do the opposite. We can create object that helps the beings, that does the opposite than torture. And that would be beautiful, wouldn't it? And then we would have ethics as the economic norm. Everything is aligned economically. Business refuses to do any harm in that's normal. And that's how commerce functions in that ideal vegan or plant-based world. So yeah, there's no more conflicts with conscience, livelihoods, no longer conflicts with conscience. People can earn their living without compromising their values, and society prospers in ways that don't demand moral compromise. So that would be an ideal world where not only the animal people are happy, but humans are happy. No more wars, no more greed, no more jealousy, um, any negative emotions that um, that are much less. And then, yeah, we have a health without the cognitive dissonance. Um, when what we eat aligns with who we want to be, then our bodies respond very well. So it's not only physical, but it's a kind of sense of wholeness, of integration of values, choices, and well-being. So no more again cognitive dissonance, which means like when we do things that do not align with our values, but we still do them because of reason X, Y, Z. But this doesn't exist anymore. And here we have also the nutrition that supports vitality. So plant-based diets are rich in whole food support, optimal health, rather than contributing to disease. Yeah, food becomes medicine, so it's not slowly accumulating harm, like the silent poisoned or long term, when we eat animal-based foods, it kills us slowly, and yeah, and that's also not good. Not only physically, but also spiritually, mentally, psychologically, because of this cognitive dissonance. And it's like plant-based food is extremely healthy, extremely good for our health. That has been proven scientifically via, for example, the China study. And you can watch Forks Over Knives if you wish to know more about it. And there are many types of problems that we would almost never see, like heart diseases, no more heart attacks, type 2 diabetes can be completely reversed and no longer exists. Certain cancers too come from the animal-based food. And there are many chronic issues that would no longer exist, basically. And yeah, those are the lifestyle-related conditions would decline really significantly when diets shift away from animal products. It's as simple as that. There are not many, but there are some documentaries that discuss this. We can Fox Over Knives is very good. I would highly recommend looking at that. Also, there's a wonderful doctor, like Dr. Michael Greger, who is the site Nutrition Facts, who is a plant-based lifestyle medicine doctor, wonderful one. And yeah, he has many videos explaining many topics about nutrition, so I would highly recommend to watch it. He has a very big followers on YouTube, and it's fully deserved. So there would be also less moral stress, so all this psychological burden of participating in systems of violence that contradicts our values. Then that inner contradiction, eating animals while claiming to love them, dissolves. We often say that we love animals, but we cannot love them and hate them at the same time. That's just not possible. That's just a myth. Um, and we have very specific taste for specific like species that we love and species that we don't love, like dogs, for example, and cats. They are in special categories. Like we make so many movies about them. We protect them. We Not all of them. Some are used in labs, but mostly we don't want to see them hurt, and we want to protect them. But then others we create like a line, and then others like pigs, cows, chickens. They are like the ones that we don't care about. They are considered food products and not like real living beings, even though they are the same basically, and even smarter than dogs and cats. So that creates a moral dissonance that hurts us. And so there's like a prevention over repair also. So the healthcare system shift from treating preventable diseases to supporting sustained well-being. So it's a question of maintaining health rather than managing the damage, basically, managing the diseases. The body would just be almost disease-free. Not completely. I mean, it's not that vegans never get sick, never have issues, but way less than those that eat animal-based food. Especially those who eat like a whole food kind of plant-based diet, like very healthy, then they are even more susceptible to be free from all diseases, but not 100%, never. So it's more prevention than anything else. The probability of getting anything serious is way lower. And even if we have one, we would still feel much better than if we ate an animal-based food. But yeah, it's not 100% guarantee, but it's way, way, way less than those with animal-based food. And so we have like a peace in the body, basically. When everything is aligned, the nervous system is happy. So this cognitive dissonance, living in contradiction, basically fades away. This stressful concept, which is very real. So body is healed in alignment. It's not just an absence of diseases, but also the presence of integrity, both physical, mental, and moral coherence. We often come back to that concept of alignment, which is very important. And yes, so we start seeing animals as beings. It's like animal people, not resources, not products. So they are no longer like categories that we normally use. Like in a way, they are not pets, livestock, wildlife, or like lab animals. They are simply beings allowed to exist for themselves. We do not categorize them anymore. There are no more breeding for exploitation. So they are not brought into existence for human purpose, food or experiment or entertainment or labor. No more ownership of bodies. The concept of owning another sentient being become completely foreign in that future. Animals even cannot be bought, sold, or treated as properties. So, for example, if we want to have a dog or a cat in our life, we just go to a shelter and just help a dog, a poor dog, to that we want to help. Yes, it would not be anymore ownership. We not have to pay for it anymore. like pay for a body basically. So and there would be no more cages, no more labs, no more tracks like horse tracks or dog racing tracks or hooks for fishing. So all the infrastructure of exploitation will just dissolve, will be dismantled and not replaced by anything else, unless it's maybe by a compassionate alternative. But there's not really an alternative, but I mean just replacing it with like instead of cages, just have like a shelter, like animal farm, animal sanctuary shelter, for example. Instead of horse tracks, we would have like a sport track, like an Olympiad. We can do those kind of things. So there's only coexistence, only respect, only life allowed to live itself, basically. And animals, they live their natural lifespans in their natural habitats, mostly or sanctuaries. So there's no really their existence is not justified by like utility. You not need them. They are simply are, and that is enough. Don't need more. Even breeders like dog breeders, that would also be stopped. I mean, it would be like they would just breed naturally. To no longer be like a business. And yeah, so a kinder world is not extreme, like cruelty was. I mean, of course, we imagine the future. Once we see that being kind to all living beings is basically logic, then that vision is very clear. And then when we see this, something shifts in us when we see that it is not just an unattainable fantasy, but it's something that is very coherently possible. So whatever we do currently in the current system with all this violence that is hidden in plain sight start to look extremely strange, like unjustifiable and temporary. And yeah, so without this, without this industrial violence, the world feels more peaceful, both externally and internally. Also lighter, because we don't have this moral weight anymore that we carry, knowing that harm happens no longer in our name. And this moral weight is basically lifted. Like actually, currently, this harm is happening in our name, because the indirect violence is as much violence as direct violence, just that we do not see it directly with our eyes. We let somebody else do the dirty job. And so everything becomes more lighter, basically, to our physically, mentally, and spiritually, and ethically. And everything becomes more honest, so truth becomes simpler. There's no necessity for justification for the practice that we wouldn't want to witness or explain to children. Currently many people don't want to hurt animals, so they try to buy like free range chickens and all that stuff. But there's a lot of issues even with free range chicken. And the free egg from so-called free range chicken. But even then, the chickens may often end up in slaughter in any case at the end of their life, when they cannot provide eggs to humans. And when we eat even free range, that means we still eat eggs. That means we will still eat eggs in any situation. If you go to any restaurant or anywhere, one will not ask, are those eggs free range? No, one will just eat the eggs. So that's what one does. When one eats eggs, one eats eggs. Same with all other products that one believes are maybe more compassionate, but that means we still eat or consume those. That means we will eat and consume those in any situation. And even those idea of humane farming is just a myth. I'm not saying that some farms may be a bit better for the animals, but at the end of the days, in all cases, they are killed against their will, and that's just not right. And in any case, we breed them to kill them, so that's also very wrong. And then so once we see this clearly, it's like impossible to justify anything that is other than that. Not because we need perfection, but it reveals something that we have normalized, the so-called routine or the systematic harm that is never necessary. It is just a choice, and we can choose differently, basically. And so that was the last slide of today. I hope it brought something to you, maybe a new vision in some sense, like an ideal vision of an ideal society. For me, an ideal society is a vegan society. No way around this. There are some communities who are vegans. I mean, like especially spiritual practitioners who are vegans, but are still very few, much fewer than it should be. But there are but they are not that big. They should be much more. That's why I believe that all spiritual guides and spiritual masters, they must go vegan, they must be vegan, and they should definitely request their followers to be vegan, in order to have like a more peaceful, compassionate world. So I remember, I think I heard someone says like some teachers, like meditation teacher, I think, that was asked why does he still eat maybe meat or and then he said, oh, but my teacher is also eating meat, so if my teacher eats meat, then I can eat meat. But that's nonsense. We should think by ourselves. So we should become wise, compassionate, kind persons that we are meant to be, that we've forgotten to be. It's just a case of remembering again something that we've forgotten, like an ancient wisdom that maybe comes back to us in one form or another. And we should not just listen to it, we should also act upon it. So if we believe that is a good view, a correct view, then we should at least do our best to follow it, at least partly, if not completely. So, okay, if we eat 1 meal a day vegan, okay, that's a start. But we can also maybe do like maybe vegan Mondays or vegan Tuesdays. But we should then really follow this very closely, not cheat on any day, on any such day, as much as possible. and then maybe increase it to 2 days, 3 days, and finally 7 days after a day or two. Just kidding. So yeah, but one can switch to vegan lifestyle in a very fast way, very short time. Doesn't take that long, especially if one has that ethical connection, that animal connection. Then it can go extremely fast, even from one day to the next. Many go vegan or plant-based as soon as they see a documentary, and they cannot go back. Like they cannot unsee what they have seen. There are many documentaries that do that. Some are not very. Some do not even need to show violence. Some are milder but still very powerful. Like Cowspiracy. There's just one part that maybe it's a bit. That is maybe a bit stronger. Just one part, small part, very small part, but still. But yeah, everyone can watch this, I would say. And there are others as well. Many other documentaries that are very mild and that everyone can see. It's like I believe everyone can see anything, but maybe some do not like to watch very hard to watch documentaries. But if we cannot watch them, maybe there's something behind it. Maybe we don't want to watch what we actually consume and what we are contributing to. So some documentaries like Earthlings may be very hard to watch, but sometimes they are very good to watch because they are hard to watch. So once one watches them, then one understands fully in just an hour or two, and then one is vegan from then on. Like one decides to go vegan on the spot, basically, and that is wonderful. But one can go also other ways. One can go for like 31 days challenge, like Veganuary, and there are many others. But Veganuary is maybe the most well known, and it's a wonderful organization, wonderful challenge to go vegan. Normally it's like for January, that's why Veganuary. But one can go and subscribe on any day of the year, and it will be exactly like Veganuary. So it doesn't mean that one needs, for example, if one wants to do it now, one doesn't need to do it in 1 year. One can actually subscribe to Veganuary now, and one will have the exact same experience as in January. So, and I would highly encourage everyone to try it out in order to approach this ideal that we talked about in this presentation and in all presentations. So I hope it resonated, maybe even a little bit. Let's make this world a kinder and compassionate place for all of us, for our children, for the animals, for nature, for the insects, for the birds and the fish and sharks and dolphins and whales, for all life on Earth. Let's make this heaven instead of a very negative place. Let's make it a very positive place. And it's possible. It's all up to us, each one of us. Each one of us has a very strong power. We should never believe that because we are alone, so-called alone, one being among billions, that we have no power to change anything. If everybody thought like that, then we would never see any change in this world. So every single one of us that becomes more compassionate and kind to all living beings influences this world's direction. And it's most important now more than ever. We need this. This world needs it now. I believe there are many so-called great beings who are born in this lifetime, in this time, maybe way more than in past times, because it's a very crucial time for the civilization, for the human civilization, or for the animal civilization, for all civilization, for nature, for planet. And it's very important that we get it right now in order to have a wonderful planet to live on and a compassionate planet. And because it's so communication is so much easier right now, then now is the time to make this world a heaven, a true heaven. We can decide heaven or hell. And animal agriculture is definitely part of hell, and the vegan lifestyle part of heaven. I don't want to sound so dividing, but it is as it is. If we want heaven, we need to stop hurting the animals, people, first and foremost, and that in turn will also stop us from hurting the humans, people, and that in turn will help to solve climate change and all the planetary issues. Because again, also even climate change is very much dependent on us stopping all the animal agriculture industry. So yes, so thank you, and let's move on to our daily practice. So good morning, everyone. So let's move on to our daily practice. So we start with our usual prayer of the day, of the morning, or any time that is at your time zone. Just for today, I will not worry. Just for today, I will not be angry. Just for today, I will do my work honestly. Just for today, I will show gratitude for many blessings. Just for today, I will be kind to all living beings. May today be a joyful, peaceful, blissful, and magical day. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all the beings in all the worlds be happy and free. And may our thoughts, words, and deeds contribute in some way to that happiness and freedom for all. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om peace to all of nature, peace to all living beings, to all the animal people, to all the humans, and finally peace to our own self, to our own mind. And let's start our gratitude session. Just being grateful to everything that we have, whatever that may be, material, physical, spiritual, or the persons in our lives, teachers, etc. So let's be grateful for all of those. Starting now. and slowly open your eyes. So that was the gratitude session. Um, but yeah, before moving on to the relaxation and rest, let's take 5 minutes rest. let's start our physical exercise session or part. So, like like often we start with the Sophie roll. So inhale forward, exhale back. The other way. Come back to center. Inhale. Exhale, round the spine. Come back to center. Inhale. Exhale, turn to one side. Exhale, extend the spine. Exhale, turn a bit more. Inhale, center. Exhale, the other side. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, turn a bit more. Inhale, come back to center. One hand on the mat, the other top and bend. The other way. Come back to center. Hands on the shoulders. Inhale. Exhale. The other way. Come back to center. Now inhale, shoulders up. Tense. Exhale. Relax. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Exhale. Now make some magic with your fingers and wrists. Rotate them in any way possible. Open and close your fingers rapidly. And relax. And do the same with the feet and the legs. Just extend them and stretch them. Now grab one of the knee and turn to that side very gently. The other side. Come back to center. Bring your legs in diamond shape in front of you, just in front, like a little bit more in front, not next to you, but really a bit forward. And then just very, very slowly bend forward and don't push. It's like in yoga practice. Just very, very gentle and passive. And slowly come back. So that was our practice of the morning. Of course, you can feel free to do something more energetic. But for our intent and purpose, it's enough. The idea is just to make it easier to sit down, and especially in the morning, to wake up basically a little bit and loosen the joints. Then it will be much easier to sit down and in a stable position. So that's basically the idea behind asanas practice, what it should be. Mostly just for being able to meditate in a more stable and comfortable position. That's the idea of the asana limb. It's not related really to health, but health is a nice byproduct. It doesn't mean that we cannot do like stronger practices, but the idea is always to with a spiritual undercurrent. So let's do now the relaxation. So relaxation is usually after a physical exercise we want to relax, so it's a very logical continuation. And there are many types of relaxations, but we will focus especially on the 61 points, also called Shavyatra, the corpse journey. There's Shavyatra and a Shavasana. So Shavasana is the corpse pose, and Shavyatra is the corpse journey. So basically going journey through different points, energetic points of the body. We do it twice, once together and once on our own. And we'll proceed it with a short body scan just to relax. So let's start. First, take a couple of deep breaths. Now bring your attention to the soles of your feet, your toes and feet, your lower legs, knees, upper legs, your hips. Relax your back, lower back, upper back. Relax your abdomen and the torso and the shoulders. Relax your fingers, hands, lower arms, elbows and upper arms. Again, relax your shoulders and shoulder blades. Relax your throat and neck, back of the head, top of the head, forehead, eyebrows. Relax your eyes and ears and face and nose and nostrils. Relax your lips, tongue, chin, jaw, temples. Relax your entire head, entire body. Let's move on to the 61 points. So bring your entire attention, entire focus on the space between the eyebrows. Imagine a beautiful blue star there, and move that star along with every point that we will focus upon. So move your awareness to the pit of the throat, the right shoulder, right elbow, right wrist, tip of the right thumb, tip of the index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and little finger. Back to the right wrist, right elbow, right shoulder, pit of the throat, left shoulder, left elbow, left wrist, tip of the left thumb, tip of the index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and little finger. Back to the left wrist, left elbow, left shoulder, pit of the throat, center of the chest, right chest, center of the chest, left chest, center of the chest, the navel, lower abdomen, right hip joint, right knee, right ankle, tip of the right big toe, tip of the second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and fifth toe. Back to the right ankle, right knee, right hip joint, lower abdomen, left hip joint, left knee, left ankle, tip of the left big toe, tip of the second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and fifth toe. Back to the left ankle, left knee, left hip joint, lower abdomen, navel, the center of the chest, the pit of the throat, and the space between the eyebrows. And relax. Now let's do it all on our own, on the 61 points. Starting now. Do it at your own pace. and slowly open your eyes. So this concludes our relaxation practice, and now we move to pranayama. So if you notice, we always have in each of our session a couple of practices. So we first start with prayer, then gratitude, then physical exercise, then relaxation, then pranayama, then self-dialogue, and finally meditation. So that's like the kind of the logical succession of steps in our practice. So let's move on to pranayama. So similarly to the past few sessions, we'll do something similar. We will not change it now. So we start with controlled breath, where we breathe in and out in a controlled way. So it's not like just letting the breath be, we try to control it in some sense. Of course, very gently. So what we do is we breathe. What we practice is 1-1. So breathe in for X seconds and out for X seconds. We will practice now 1-1. So 4-4. We'll do 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. If that's too much, you can do 3-3 or 2-2. But I think 4-4 should be fine for most people. And yeah, so one of the most important points in that practice is there's some qualities that we try to develop for this. One is silence. We try to breathe in very silently, so there's no ujjayi, no ujjayi practice in this in here. It's pure breathing in and out very naturally, and not trying to make any noises, any artificial noises. Of course, except if we have a blocked nose, then of course that's okay. And we try to make the breath smooth, no hiccups. We try to make it no pauses, so minimize pauses, both between inhalation and exhalation, inhalation. We try to make it so-called diaphragmatic, which just mean to breathe in from the belly rather than the chest or the shoulders. It's quite so it's like a deep breathing. It's very natural. You just need to relax, and then we will breathe diaphragmatically. Yeah, because there's one I heard recently say that basically there's no such thing as diaphragmatic breathing, because in any case we use the diaphragm to breathe. But there is a way to direct the expansion of the air, how it enters, how it expands in the lungs, and try to make it as natural as possible. So we don't try to not stress the chest or the shoulders. Then there will be much less air that can enter because of like a constriction of physiological constriction. So all it means is we just need to let it go. So let go of all the tension in our body. And let the belly expand and retract naturally. And finally, breathing from the nose, in and out from the nose. That is not negotiable, unless we have a blocked nose, of course. Because nose is for breathing, mouth is for speaking and eating, and emergency breathing. That's all there is to it. So yeah, so we try to use our natural instrument, which is the nose, to breathe. It's what nature made it to be, and it's very well done. We're doing a very good job at it, much better than the mouth. The mouth is just an emergency when we really need more air in. Then we can breathe from the mouth. But otherwise, the nose is the primary instrument, and there are many reasons for that. Like it humidifies the air, it warms the air. So when we inhale, it's a little bit cold, and then when it comes inside, it warms it a little bit also. One of the main thing to it is to block dust and like microbes and whatnot, like pollution from the environment. Also smell comes from the nose, of course, which is very important, even to smell danger, both physically and metaphorically. But yeah, I mean, it's like when we breathe in, we can know if a food is going bad or something like that. So it's like a protection mechanism that has been provided by nature. If you breathe in from the mouth, we cannot know that. So, and then there's also nitric oxide that is created by in this canal, which is very important for vessel style, like expansion, dilation, and then we can bring this compound inside our lungs, and that helps. And yes, it is scientific. You can watch it out, watch it up, look it up. And yeah, that's why we breathe in from the nose and out from the nose as much as possible. And basically, most practices in yoga, they are like that. There's not a lot that, I mean, that breathe from the nose. Or this one where we make like we breathe in from the teeth, close them, and then we make like having sitali. But I don't enjoy it. I don't practice it. I cannot breathe in from the mouth. It makes me sick. Of course, except when needed, but just as a practice, surely not. Yeah, so let's do that. So 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. And watch out for all the qualities that we discussed about. It's controlled breath, but still it's kind of calm. Should be very calming to the system, not stressful. So if you feel stressed, maybe it's too much, then you just make a 3-3 or 2-2. So breathe in for 3 seconds, out for 3 seconds or 2 even. So no need to feel stressed. That would kind of defeat the purpose of this practice. So let's start now. Take maybe 1 or 2 deep breaths initially and then start. and relax. So now we move to the second type in these types, which is the 1-2. So we breathe in for X seconds and out for 2X seconds. And we're going to do a 4-8. So breathe in for 4 seconds and out for 8 seconds. If that is too much, please do like 3-6 or 2-4. And and watch out for the quality again, same as before. Exactly the same qualities. So let's do that for a couple of minutes. And relax. So let's move on to the next practice, which is Nadi Shodhanam, alternate nostril breathing. Again, we'll do like we did before. So in the 10 first sessions, we did the first type. 10 sessions afterwards, we did the second type. 10 afterwards, we did the third type. And now in the 10 last ones, we do all 3 types. If you do it on your own and you wish to do that practice, then you do not have to do all those 3 types like we do now. You can choose one, do it maybe for 3 rounds, and that would be enough. But we do all 3 of them as a practice. So, yes, alternate nostril breathing. We will use the Vishnu Mudra, so bend the index and middle finger. But we're going to do a different variant of it, like we did before. Either we put the 2 fingers on the space between the eyebrows, and we block the nostrils with the thumb and the ring. So we can use also like this if you want, but we're going to use this one. If unless it's not comfortable, then you can use the other one. So what is the first type? First type is when imagine we block the right side, then we exhale left, inhale right, exhale left, inhale right, exhale left, inhale right, exhale right, inhale left, exhale right, inhale left, exhale right, inhale left. That's the first type. And we do 1 round together, and then we do 3 rounds on our own of that type. So let's start. We always start with like inhale, exhale, and then we inhale to start. That way we are synchronized. So inhale, exhale, inhale to start. Block right, exhale from left. Switch inhale, switch exhale, switch inhale, switch exhale, switch inhale, same exhale, switch inhale, switch exhale, switch inhale, switch exhale, switch inhale, and relax. And now let's do 3 rounds on our own, each round starting on the opposite nostril. And between each round we can take 5-10 seconds pause. So let's start now. You do that. We do that at our own pace, so don't follow me. And yeah, let's start. Okay, slowly open your eyes. Now let's do the second type. Second type is when, imagine we block the right and exhale left in the left, switch exhale left in exhale right in the right, switch exhale inhale, switch exhale inhale, switch exhale inhale, switch exhale inhale. That's the second type. So we'll do like before, we'll do one round together and then 3 rounds on our own. So inhale, exhale, inhale to start. Block right, exhale from left. Inhale left. Switch, exhale right. Inhale right. Switch, exhale left. Inhale left. Switch, exhale right. Inhale right. Switch, exhale. Inhale. Switch, exhale. Inhale. And relax. So let's do that now for 3 rounds on our own. Don't follow me, just do it at your own pace. slowly open your eyes. So now let's do the funnel type. So funnel type is, imagine we block the right, then exhale left, in the left, exhale left, in the left, exhale left, in the left, switch. Exhale right, in the right, exhale right, in the right, exhale right, in the right. That's the third type. So let's do it together one round and then 3 rounds on our own. So inhale, exhale, inhale to start. Block right, exhale from left. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, switch, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and inhale. And yeah, so let's do it now 3 times on our own. And slowly open your eyes. So let's do now the final practice with primary. So be humming when we close the mouth and make like sound, like inhale, like Then you choose the tone and the rhythm and duration. And yeah, each one doing on our own, so it's not, you should not follow me. So let's do that for a couple of minutes. And slowly open your eyes. So let's move now to the dialogue part or step, where we talk to ourselves in a positive, constructive way. There are many ways to do that, like we talked in the past. One can do prayer. Prayer is a kind of self-dialogue. Can be either pre-made or self-made. Pre-made is like scriptures. And self-made is we made our own prayer. That may be the most powerful. But both are fine. And then we have gratitude, like we do in the beginning of each session. And it's very important. Gratitude and kindness are both like the mothers of all the virtues. Then we have affirmations. That's also can be very positive. Then we have the loving kindness meditation or metta meditation, where we pray for the welfare and peace of all living beings, also of all those that are close to us, or those that are neutral, and all those then that are difficult to us in succession. The idea is to open our hearts to all beings, even those that we do not have much affinities with or create problems for us. We wish them well in any case. And that is like a saintly quality that we can forgive people. Not hold any grudges. Again, doesn't mean that we are weak or that we like forget, that we are not cautious, that we protect ourselves, but it does mean that we don't hold any grudges. Don't have any hate in our hearts. That's what it means. Yeah. So then we have contemplation on higher truths, like who am I not? That's a wonderful question to ask, and especially in contemplation, like who am I not? And yeah, we discussed it in the past, what exactly it means. But just like thinking about it and then trying to let it be, just let the kind of intuition comes in, because we cannot really know it unless we have some very deep spiritual experience, mystical experience. But otherwise, it's more like intuition, that we are made out of a wonderful energy called consciousness or soul. And that, yes, that energy moves us, is in our hearts, sits in our hearts. That's why this body is very precious and very important. We need to take good care of it. But at the same time, we need to realize that we are not this body and not the mind either. So we need to use this mind and body in order to try to advance spiritually, basically, trying to understand who we are really, behind the body, behind the mind. What exactly can we be? We are conscious entities, conscious beings. So something animates this brain of ours, and that something is consciousness, or one could say consciousness uses that. But in any case, this body is very precious, very rare, so we need to take good care of it. And but still try to understand who we really are. It's like this body and mind are instruments that the soul is using. Sometimes when we need to go to some places, we need to wear some clothes that maybe, like if you go to ski, maybe we need to wear very hot clothes, maybe way more bigger, like more abundant than normally. And we've also a helmet to protect our head. We have the thing around our eyes, and we have the strange things on our long piece of whatever that is, wood or whatever, on our legs. It may look ridiculous, but it is. That's how we can actually use it to go down the hill in a faster way, safer way. We need to be safe also. But at the same time, that's not us. So we are using those costumes, those instruments, in order to accomplish something. So one could say, if maybe an alien would see somebody skiing, you would think maybe that's how humans look. Then he goes to explain to his aliens friends, I saw a human, he had like very, very long legs, and he went very fast downhill. It was quite amazing. It was very strange. And his eyes are like science fiction rays, or whatever. But this is of course not humans. Humans are, if you take away those clothes, then we are something else. Similarly, our soul wears this body, because in this world, our soul needs this body to work with in the mind. It's an instrument that our awareness consciousness is using to work in this world. Because we cannot function without it. The soul cannot function without it in here. That's what is the whole idea. So that is contemplation, and then we have self-counseling, trying to find out what we really want in life, for example. Our goals, aspirations, habit forming. If we have any pain in the body, maybe we can try to find out, to request our mind, maybe to heal it. And yes, so it's like self-counseling, basically, to counsel ourselves in different ways, thinking what should we do, which habit should we acquire, which habit should we let go of, um, what is really important in our life. And yeah, so that is a wonderful talk. And then we have friendship with mind, where we are friend with the mind. We become friend with the mind. We talk friendly with the mind as if the mind is our best friend. And we just talk, and we try to listen also. It's not only talking, of course. It should be like not a monologue, but even though the mind will not talk, it will more be like intuition, knowledge. And yeah, so let's do that. So let's do it for 9 minutes. Just tell dialogue for 9 minutes. I will ring the bell to start and ring the bell to finish. So let's pass now to the meditation part. So meditation is when we actually don't follow the thoughts, we just watch them from a distance, like clouds. Um, and yeah, we don't try to interact with them. We just focus on an object of concentration. In our case, we'll do the air at the breathing, like inhale, exhale to feel the air at the entrance of the nostrils, or the maybe upper lip, or the sensation of the hot and cold. Like when we inhale it's cold, when we exhale it's hot, we can focus on that. Or even the belly rising and falling. Um, and yeah, we try to, our breath is completely natural. We don't manipulate it. It's like watching someone breathe from a distance. And yes, so we can count. That helps a lot to stabilize the mind. So like we count one each time we inhale, exhale, then two, then three, then four, then five, and so on, back to one. Then we can stop after some times once our mind is stabilized. We can also think in when we inhale, out when we exhale. And when thoughts come, we can think the word thinking, which will acknowledge the thoughts and then bring us back to our object of concentration. Yeah, so let's do that for 9 minutes. Try to be as stable and comfortable as possible. Don't move unless you feel pain. So let's start. So this concludes the today's session. So to recap, the presentation today was about what could be the future if everybody was vegan, plant-based. The world would be a heavenly place, in my humble opinion. Not perfect, but at least way more peaceful than it is now for all beings, for all the animal people, of course, for the humans too. I don't believe wars could exist in such a world. Or they would be easily like fixed, maybe by diplomacy rather than by guns. So yeah, it would be a wonderful world also for the planet. Climate change would recede. The health would be much better for most people. So it would be a really wonderful world. And yeah, so this presentation presented like what could happen if the world went vegan. It's something that I think about from time to time. There are some also, I think, 2 other videos that I on my channel about it. So yeah, it's like it's nice to dream from time to time. Would be better if it was reality, but maybe in the future, maybe in the near future even, who knows. So yeah, wish you a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. With the best of wishes, be happy and peaceful. And thank you for being here. And yeah, let's end with the mantra. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all the beings in all the worlds be happy and free. And may our thoughts, words, and deeds contribute in some way to that happiness and freedom for all. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om peace to all of nature, peace to all living beings, to all the animal people, to all the humans, and finally peace to our own self, to our own mind. Om. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and hope to see you soon. Bye bye.